How Natural Selection Leads to Evolution by Dottie Woods and Claire Morales. Key vocabulary words. Natural selection is a process whereby organisms better adapted to their environment tend to survive and produce more offspring. Mutation is the changing of the structure of a gene, resulting in a variant form that may be transmitted to subsequent generations caused by the alteration of a single base unit in DNA, or the deletion, insertion, or rearrangement of larger sections of genes or chromosomes. Genetic variation is the difference between individuals or differences between populations. Natural selection. Natural selection is a process in which species adapt. Natural selection is a studied difference in survival and reproduction between different genotypes or different genes in reproductive success. It's a process that is responsible for the evolution of the adaptation of organisms to their environment. Survival of the fittest. Sometimes there isn't a fittest type. There can be multiple traits that are adequate for different reasons. One genetic type will not necessarily take over and let the other perish. There can be multiple differentiations of a species living in harmony. Genetic variation and natural selection. There must be mutation to generate the different genotypes of a species, which then may or may not make a difference in the ability of an organism to survive and reproduce. You cannot have any evolutionary change whatsoever without mutation, which gives rise to genetic variation. A real-world example. Hummingbirds are a great example of how natural selection leads to evolution. Hummingbirds with longer beaks tend to survive over those with smaller beaks because those with longer beaks can obtain nectar from long, tubular flowers and smaller flowers, whereas shorter-beaked hummingbirds can only possess nectar from smaller flowers, which then causes the smaller-beaked hummingbirds to die off. Review. Natural selection is a process in which species adapt. There cannot be evolution without natural selection and genetic variation. The organisms with the better suited traits to that environment will survive and reproduce. Citations. A Claire and Dottie video production.